We are with you every Saturday evening following the Jimmy Mathis Show. 4 hours of power on the conservative side, and we are happy to be here for you, spreading the truth, telling the truth, and giving you the viewpoints you need to hear. And of course, I have been getting around quite a bit, obviously, running for county executive. You go everywhere, do everything, get invited to everything. Been to two candidates' forums this week. No, one I was just a guest speaker. We were out at Parkville Senior Center where a good crowd turned out. I was there along with Johnny Olszewski, Johnny O, a Democrat candidate, and Jim Brochin, a Democrat candidate, and myself, the only Republican, the only real Republican anyway. Let's be honest, let's be fair. The empty suit was not there, so that's the way it is. I don't know, maybe 100 people. There was a pretty good crowd for a lot of, I don't know why. Everybody's very seriously interested in the elections. We hear about it, read about it, talk about it. And at some of these events, you don't get a big turnout. You don't get a big crowd. But this was a good crowd, young people and older people. It was a nice mix. And I must say it went very well for us. I believe it did. After we were finished speaking and the panel was over, got pretty well mobbed by a lot of people, so that was a good thing. It's a good indication that we're talking about the right issues and we're coming up with the right solutions. Now tonight we're going to talk about a number of things. Number one, I want to talk about this craziness of using taxpayers' money and facilities to promote protests in Washington being organized and controlled by George Soros and radical lefties and other organizations. Why are we having our tax dollars and our organizations, our school system, promoting our children to go there? We talk about safety. It's certainly not safe with tens of thousands of young people, not that well supervised, I would assume. And it can't be safe for their brains, can it? I mean, they're going to be lied to, propagandized, brainwashed. It happens K through 12 and in higher education throughout America already. And now we're going beyond the phony professors and teachers who tell them lies constantly, and we're forcing them to go out to live protests, and we are paying for it. That should not be. Baltimore City, they're going to pay for the buses, and in Baltimore County, Verletta White and her gang, once again, bad judgment, Verletta. That's why you got in trouble. That's how Dallas got in trouble, right? That's how you're going to get in trouble with this bad judgment, not consulting with the parents or the teachers or anybody. Just, hey, they can have off. They don't have to go to school. You know, just let them go over to Washington and protest about a lie. And we're going to tell you why it's a lie and how it's a lie in detail tonight. Because this tragic event in Florida is not about guns or mental illness. It's about Obama's discipline policy, and we can prove it, and we're going to talk about it tonight. You know, I've said to you before that a memo, a letter, a dear colleague letter, came out of Washington a couple of years ago saying that we've got to reduce discipline. We can't be so harsh. We've got to be soft because these children are minorities and they have tough life and sometimes they don't understand things. And we can't destroy their futures because they'll become incarcerated if we give them a bad history of discipline or being expelled or suspended. We can't do this. And also, we've got to be confidential. We can't tell the parents and the public about it. In other words, cover up. No disclosure. Well, that was the Obama Eric Holder memo, embraced by 99 superintendents in America, including the one in Florida at this school system. He embraced it. And that is why this guy, Cruz, police visited his house 39 times. At the school, he was brought in for questioning or whatever you want to call it 10 times, found with a weapon, none of it recorded, none of it enforced. Finally, they had to throw the guy out. I mean, he was so bad. But this was the what? This was the Obama, Eric Holder, dear colleague, discipline policy in America. And guess what? This is going to make you feel great. It's still in power in Baltimore County. Verletta White and her gang are still using this. And I asked her about it personally, and she told me, yes, they were. And I want to get rid of it. I think, I'll tell you, if you look at state and federal law, the real law that's been passed by the Congress and the state legislature, this policy violates that law. You must have transparency. You must have disclosure. You must have discipline. And some of the 322 violent incidents in Baltimore County involved firearms. Where was Verletta White? Well, she was with Dallas Stance. She was his deputy. And what is Verletta White? She is a clone of Dallas Stance, and we know what happened to Dallas Stance. Well, anyway, we had some fun because finally the Baltimore Sun was actually fair with me. Yes, front page of the Baltimore Sun today, Pamela Wood did an article about the various county executive candidates and their position on education. And for the first time in the article, it stated that I was the guy who won the ethics case against Dallas Stance, which started him on the way to his downfall. So if you are happy that Dallas Stance has departed, well, you can thank me because I started the ball rolling. That was the first case that he was indicted on, was the case that I won over him on an ethics charge. So I want to thank Pamela White for not doing anything special for me, but for actually being a professional reporter. Whereas the education reporter, Liz Bowie, always says, well, Dallas Stance lost an ethics case, and that got the ball. She doesn't say lost an ethics case to Delegate Pat McDonough. No, she can't, afford the ink, I guess, or she can't afford to be honest. That's the real case. So we got that in the Sun today. And as I said, this is ridiculous that we are doing this. We're also going to talk about the sanctuary wars going on in this country between the administration and especially at least one foreign nation, California, and what the nation, our people in Washington, are trying to do to protect the Constitution and the law against the lawlessness of California. And we're going to talk about a country that had criticized Donald Trump about his policies on sanctuary cities, and now this country, this foreign country, has flip-flopped and has accepted Donald Trump's position and policy on sanctuary cities and on immigration law, and is praising the President of the United States and has implemented his programs, and the crime is going down in this country. I'll tell you about that country. And how about speak English? I used to put signs out when I was running for re-election to the House of Delegates that said speak English, because I wanted what? I wanted us to have English as our official language in the United States. And not only that, but you know how much money it costs us, billions and billions of dollars, to print material and to enforce the multicultural law in America. There is a bill being proposed in the federal government in Congress by, I think, Congressman Steve King, to make English the official language of the United States. And Donald Trump and Vice President Pence are both very strong supporters of this. And I can tell you, you take a look at Baltimore County. You ever notice all the pamphlets? You go to the library, and you notice all the pamphlets in the library that are in other languages, especially Spanish, and the county pays for that stuff. Do you know what ESOL is? ESOL is when we have to teach foreign children, or illegal immigrants, I guess in particular, in different languages in order to teach them our curriculum. And the taxpayers pay for that. It's called ESOL money, ESOL. And in Baltimore County, it's in the tens of millions, and it increases every year. And I can tell you one thing as county executive, number one, we are getting rid of all the multi-language paraphernalia publications. We're going to save millions of dollars a year, and we're going to put that into security and into training on drug awareness in our school system. We're going to get rid of all of that stuff, and we're going to see what we can do about ESOL. One of the things we can do about ESOL is we're going to crack down on sanctuary in Baltimore County big time. We're going to be an anti-sanctuary county, and as a result, you're going to see fewer and fewer children going into our school system who do not speak English. That's just the way it works. And we're also going to take a look tonight at the crime bill in Annapolis. Believe it or not, there's actually a crime bill. 16 years in Annapolis, I've introduced anti-crime legislation every year, and the criminal advocates, the radical Democrats and the lefties and the Judiciary Committee destroy my bills every year. Gun bills where, like gun violence, you use a gun, 10 years mandatory sentencing. So now the governor, the mayor, and some of the legislative leaders in the Senate, like Bobby Serkin, have gotten together and come up with a fairly decent bill. Not everything, but guess what? The Baltimore Sun is already whining about it, crying about it. It's too tough on those baby criminals. And the House of Delegates, where all the radical lefties and Michael Bush are, may kill this bill. we may get nothing on fighting crime coming out of Annapolis this year. So those are the things we're going to talk about tonight, plus whatever is on your mind. We're going to start off with Jay in Pikesville. Jay, good evening.
Pat. You mentioned my friend Bobby Zirkin. I went to school with him.
Okay, thank you for calling, Jay.
Wait a second.
Oh.
What's it called? I found an antique penny on the ground, and I picked it up, and I looked at it, and there's Abraham Lincoln on it, and it has the guy doing something, and the date is good, and
Well, Jay, this just keeps getting more and more exciting. But is there a point here?
I'd just like to know, where's a coin museum around town to cash in my coin?
Well, I don't do much business with coins, to be honest with you, and I don't know, but I would say Google it or look in the phone book. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sorry. I know a lot, but there are some things I just do not know.
Oh, okay. I'll go
All right.
for you.
Well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. Sound like a good person, right? I mean, into coins, knows Bobby Zirkin. These are not bad things. These are not bad things. All right, we're going to talk to Bob in Parkville. Bob, good evening. Okay. All right, so what's on your mind tonight?
Situation with the mayor of Baltimore. He's got $100,000 for his kids to go to Washington for 60 buses and taxpayers' money. He's got another $200,000 for $100,000 for an anonymous donor and another $100,000 taxpayers' money to fight the deportation of illegals in court here in Baltimore.
Yeah, well, they're spending all the money where they need to spend it.
Oh, yeah. And I've got a question for her. Where the hell was she in that Department of Education, but especially her, because she's got control of all these funds? Where was she when those poor kids were black and white, mostly black? In the wintertime, looked like 9 Oak of the North with the hats on and gloves and all this.
Yeah.
Sweaters.
Where was the money then? Is that the...
They were freezing it there. No
Yeah.
air conditioning during the spring and summer. And then you look around and you see that all these things that she has done, not even for her own race, that's unexplainable also.
Well, that's called incompetence. It's called failure. At the Baltimore City is a lost in space, man. I'm telling you. I think they're, the city council is a circus. They're preaching, we're marching towards the promised land of progressivism. That's like Bernie Sanders' world, and they're giving money to force kids to go out. What if if a young person in high school says, I don't believe in this nonsense about gun control. This has nothing to do with gun control. This has to do with what I witness every day in my school, which is soft on discipline. These kids get away with anything. I want to protest that. Can I protest that? No, young man, you cannot. You will go to Washington with the rest of these young people. What are you, some kind of Trump nut or something? They have that's the other side of the coin here. So I give credit to Barbara Carnavan in Harford County, the superintendent of schools, and Barbara's retiring, but I give her credit. She said she's not putting up with this nonsense.
She was on national television this past week, the mayor was, with what's her name, Laurel Ingalls?
Yeah, made a fool of herself.
Did she ever make a fool of herself?
Every time a Baltimore politician goes on Fox, they make total fools of themselves.
Well, she didn't need any help. She did all herself, and she's totally incompetent as far as I'm concerned. And even the one before her was, and she was the one before her.
Yeah, it's not going to get any better. It's sad. Sad.
God help this blasted city, because, like I say, it's a cesspool, and it's rated #1. It's the most dangerous city to live in the United States.
All right, Bob, we're up against the break. Thanks for calling. We'll be right back.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. And the reason is because this is